Okay, I'm going to move now to Deputy McAuliffe, please.
Gorbaga Cahirlock and to Fergal, Caroline and Anya. Often when witnesses come in here, we struggle to find their names on the page in front of us when we're welcoming them. Unfortunately, we know all your names inside out and you know ours, so thank you for being here with us today. Look, actually, to continue the conversation, I think that Owen had raised, the first 18 months of this committee's term was really about bringing forward a huge change, a huge policy shift in terms of legislation. So the availability of an affordable purchase scheme, the availability of a cost rental scheme, the publication of Housing for all of the various different supply measures that are within that. And so I think we're moving now towards a phase where while there might be disagreement on the committee over the policy measures, we've moved away from establishing policy, and we're in the phase of implementing Housing for All. And that's what this meeting is about. And our report will focus on some of the challenges of implementing Housing for All, where it's going well and where it's going badly. Different local authorities seem to be having an ad hoc approach to the policy measures that they're adopting. Some of the local authorities felt that, for example, cost rental wasn't for them. And I think that that's not acceptable. Each local authority has to be implementing each phase and each element of Housing for All. Some had really ambitious senior citizen housing programmes, others had none. Some had implemented their cost rental, their affordable purchase scheme of lettings, or the affordable purchase scheme. Some have no affordable purchase scheme, even still. Agreed. So I think we still have a long way in ensuring that the translation of policy into practice at a local authority level. And it's clear from the approved housing bodies that some of them are still a bit fearful of CREL, of gearing and of all of the issues. To be honest, I don't see huge ambition within the approved housing body sector for the cost rental model. If we're honest, and I think more needs to be done to ensure that translation. So look, what I thought I might do is, because it refers to implementation of Housing for All, I thought I might concentrate on some of the sites in my own area, just to try and see, and I had given you some forewarning on it, so it wasn't surprising you. Just to talk through some of the challenges I think that we're having on the ground. So site 12 in Ballymun, for example, and can I just say, we have more than 20 public housing sites on public land that are being developed in my constituency. It's frustrating driving around the constituency because you can't see the physical evidence of that yet. But there is 20 public housing sites where we will build public housing in my constituency, and none of that was possible before the current government. So I think that's worth noting. So site 12, for example, in Ballymun, which is an affordable purchase site, there was a pre-Part A planning meeting held with councillors in December 2021, but we don't really know where things are at present, and I understand there's some issues of density. So you might come back to me in writing on that, or kind of give me an update on it. Site 14, similarly, it's an approved, it's affordable purchase site. I think there's great potential to deliver, a large number of affordable purchases on that site, but we're here in 2025, and I just think that it seems like a long way off. The Shangan Road PPP bundle passed Part 8 in September 2022, so it's done its planning, but we have a Q4 2025 delivery date. Again, it seems like a very long time. If we come to Finglas, the Kildonan lands, there are issues there where the affordable purchase we can build may be slightly more expensive than adjoining homes at market value, but they're very different offerings, and I think we need to have a more realistic approach to the affordable purchase, because the more affordable purchase we provide, the overall supply will become cheaper. The Church of the Annunciation site, which Mr. Dara Bryan and myself both launched as part of that broader PPP bundle. No activity on that site at present, Anya, and that's a social housing site, mostly for older people, not due until Q3 2026. I have no design yet, I have no Part 8 yet. The Berryfield site, and I have a real issue with this site, because this site has approved planning permission from Novus for 6 3-beds in July 2020. My understanding is the department didn't approve that as a scheme because they felt there was more 1-beds needed, even though the reason for that scheme was actually to tackle antisocial behaviour. Novus resubmitted an application in April 2022, and in June 2022, so 2 years after a planning permission had been approved for a site. 2 years later, Dublin City Council rejected that planning application. So 2 years later, on a site basically for 6 3-bedroom houses to stop antisocial behaviour, we've nothing built. So look, there's other sites on Collins's Avenue and on Thatch Road that, again, I know the plans for, but they're either at pre-Part 8 or they're not at Part 8. And I've discussed all of these with Dublin City Council, and they tell me it takes time to build housing, and I accept that. But there still seems to be a lot of a lack of urgency at some end of the spectrum. And I think that Nova site in Berryfield is an example of it, but I think there's threads of it in the other sites as well. So I've thrown a lot at you. If you want to be site-specific answers, you can come back to me and maybe just talk about that broader principle of are we dealing with this as a real emergency at the implementation level with local authorities, and is the department unnecessarily delaying those, or is the delay at the local authority level?
That's a mix of myself and Anya, I suppose, on the mixed tenure sites. Anya, do you want to take first, or are you happy for me to?
Yeah, I mean, we can go through some of the sites very briefly, Deputy. I suppose one of the things to say by way of context is the legislative changes to the Part 8 planning process will hopefully allow for the planning process to proceed more speedily, where some of these sites have yet to go through planning. So that should certainly help to get them on site at an earlier point. The first two you mentioned, I think, are on the affordable side, site 14 in Balbutcher and site 12 in Salog, so I might let Caroline come to those. On the PPP bundle, the site you mentioned on Shangan Road, that is being supported by the NDFA. We're quite well advanced on the PPP bundle. That site will deliver 93 units, and 73 of those will be for senior citizens. So it will be a very good development. It will also deliver a new link road and landscaped open space. So it is going to have a community facility as part of that development as well. There have, I understand, been significant consultations with local residents in relation to the whole proposal. Part 8 was granted by the City Council, as you know, Deputy, and planning approval has been secured, in fact, for all of the elements of the PPP Bundle 3. So it is helpful in terms of the tender notice having been issued, and the programme is now at the pre-qualification stage of procurement. I think construction for that,
so there's 3 years of a construction period after the Part 8 was passed.
Yes, yeah. Now, there is quite, I suppose, a detailed procurement process around the PPP bundles. There's the pre-qualification stage, followed by a further stage of the tender process. So the critical thing for the PPP Bundle 3 is that we get a sufficient level of interest from the construction sector at the pre-qualification stage, and we'll know that very soon. And that will allow the process to complete. We have certainly made it clear with the local authority and the NDFA deputy that we would like the PPP Bundle 3 to proceed as quickly as possible.
I know we're under time pressure, and perhaps you can answer, when the next slot comes back in about 20 minutes' time, we can answer some of those. Yeah. But that Nova site, like that's an example of something not functioning. 6 3-bedroom houses to try and stop antisocial behaviour, 2 planning applications, 2 years, nothing built.
Yeah, my understanding is there's some issues with the topography of the site, and I think you are correct, Deputy, it may need to go to redesign.
But that will be the 3rd planning application.
Yeah.
Even though there's a live planning application right there, right now, for 6 3-bedroom homes. Can we not just give the approval and get it built?
Yeah. We have a number of engagements with DCC on implementation across some of these projects that are at various stages of the approval process, Deputy, so we certainly prioritise this one with them.
Okay.
I was not to ask any questions and just allow
there was a site in your constituency that you didn't cover. You might get in this one.
There's about 15 of them, Chair. There's about 15 of them. I didn't cover, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Anya, you're working your way through the list. Apologies.
Yeah, if you like, Deputy, I might allow Caroline to talk about the affordable sites, and we can send you a written update on the other sites, but also I can run through them quickly if you prefer. But we might, because we skipped the affordable sites, we might go back.
I imagine there's nobody more frustrated with delivery than you guys, and I do accept that. But I just, as a TD that came in here to vote for things that were going to change the housing, having put in place the policy and the budgeting, it's just really frustrating to see the delivery not happening as quickly as we can. And as I say, it does seem on some of the sites, like, and you might tell me different, kind of on some of the affordable and on the social, that the department are still kind of sticking their oar in a bit too much. So maybe I'm wrong, but that's what the local authorities are saying back to us.
I would say you're correct to characterise us as the people who wish to see delivery quickest. We're definitely in that space. If there was something we could do to move things quicker, that we're doing it already, absolutely. In relation to the department sticking its oar, no, not on the affordable side, and I don't think I would say that on, Anya can speak for the social, but no, I wouldn't characterise it that way at all. If anything, we're trying to make sure that DCC has all of the options to bring everything forward. We're giving them additional resources and working very closely with them, and it's a very good relationship. That has developed over the last while on the affordable side particularly, and I know it's the same for social, so I would say that's working well. In relation to the sites that you're talking about, I think we're all, including DCC, wanting to move those as quickly as possible. On Silog, we had an SSF approval on that site from some time ago for 101 units, and they are intending on bringing that forward now quite quickly. We understand that they're going to engage with the elected members on the design in the coming weeks, and that they intend to bring forward a new application under the Affordable Housing Fund, so for a revised subsidy for those units for the affordable. And
is that where the density bit comes in, Karen, that the density wasn't right?
No, that the SSF was for 50,000, whereas AHF, it can go quite high, depending on what you're talking about, up to 150. So they will get, in fact, more funds, so in that respect. So they will be doing that, I'm sure, in the next while, and they do look to have substantial completion then of the site by 2026. So I can see that ambition coming forward now, and certainly I see a lot more momentum on those sites. But Butcher, similarly, that's again an SSF approved site. Again, they need to come back in with a fresh AHF application. They've indicated that they will do so. And they've this, again, said that they're intending to engage with members on design in the coming weeks, and they want to move that on very, very quickly to ensure the construction commencements before the end of next year. So we can see things happening.
Is Kildone the same then?
Kildone, no, I don't have the same information on Kildone. We don't have any approval on the affordable side on Kildone. We haven't had an application on it to my awareness. I don't think I've ever seen one. But I can imagine if they're coming forward with that, we'd be happy to progress it as quickly as possible. Yeah.
I think the problem there is that the construction costs for affordable purchase will result in a home more expensive than the market value home. Okay. And I think that's a challenge, obviously.
That can be, absolutely. But we're happy to work with them on that if that's something they want to progress.
Thanks.